On a crisp September morning, the bell echoed across Maplewood High School's courtyard, signaling the end of first period. Students poured out of classrooms, their voices blending into a chaotic symphony of chatter and laughter. Amid the throng of teenagers, a girl with chestnut-brown hair and oversized glasses hurried across the yard, clutching her books tightly. Her name was Lily Harper, the quiet, unassuming girl who often slipped through the cracks of attention. Lily had always been the subject of whispers. Her thrift store clothes and reclusive demeanor made her an easy target for Maplewood's clique of self-proclaimed elites, led by the strikingly beautiful and venomously cruel Madison Reed. Madison thrived on power, and nothing boosted her ego more than humiliating someone weaker. That morning, Lily had accidentally bumped into Madison in the hallway, spilling coffee onto the Queen Bee's designer blouse. The apology Lily stammered was drowned by Madison's furious shriek. "You're going to pay for this, freak," Madison hissed, her eyes narrowing with malicious intent. By lunchtime, Madison and her crew had hatched a plan. It was cruel, public, and designed to humiliate Lily beyond repair. The school's central courtyard had a tall flagpole that Madison decided would be the stage for her twisted performance. "Meet us in the courtyard after lunch, or we'll make your life even worse," Madison threatened Lily in a low voice during class. Lily, terrified but resigned, showed up as instructed. The courtyard was unusually packed, students buzzing with anticipation. They didn't know what was about to happen, but Madison's theatrics were always worth watching. As Lily approached, Madison and her friends seized her, tying her hands and waist to the flagpole with bright, glittery ribbons. The crowd erupted in laughter and cheers as Madison began her mocking speech. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Maplewood's biggest loser," she announced, her voice dripping with faux enthusiasm. "Let's all take a moment to appreciate her unique fashion sense and social skills." The crowd roared with laughter, phones recording every second of the spectacle. Tears streamed down Lily's face as she looked around, pleading for someone to help her. But no one stepped forward. Then, something happened that no one could have predicted. From the edge of the crowd, a sleek black car pulled up. Out stepped a man in an impeccably tailored suit, his presence commanding immediate attention. The laughter died down as whispers spread through the crowd. "Who's that? Is he famous?" The man strode through the sea of students, his piercing gaze fixed on Lily. He pulled out a phone, made a call, and moments later, security personnel appeared seemingly out of nowhere. They quickly untied Lily, shielding her from the crowd. "Are you okay, Miss Harper?" the man asked, his voice gentle but firm. Lily nodded, her tear-streaked face filled with confusion and relief. "Wait, what's going on?" Madison demanded, her voice faltering for the first time. "Who is she?" The man turned to face Madison and the crowd, his expression icy. "Allow me to introduce Miss Lily Harper, the sole heir to the Harper fortune, owners of Harper Industries, the multinational corporation your parents probably work for." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Harper Industries was a household name, a conglomerate that owned everything from tech companies to fashion brands. Lily's father, Richard Harper, was notoriously private about his family, and no one had connected the dots until now. Madison's face turned ghostly pale. That can't be true." Ignoring her, the man escorted Lily to the car, leaving the stunned crowd in his wake. As they drove away, Lily finally spoke. "Why did you reveal who I am?" "I didn't want this." The man smiled. "Your father thought it was time to remind people that no one, not even a quiet girl at a high school, should be treated this way." The next day, Maplewood buzzed with the fallout. Madison and her crew faced swift repercussions, suspensions, social disgrace, and a public apology issued under the school's watchful eye. As for Lily, she returned to school with her head held high. She didn't need wealth or power to define her, but knowing her true worth, and having the courage to stand tall, was a lesson she'd never forget. For the first time, she walked through the halls not as a victim, but as someone who had conquered her fears and reclaimed her identity. Lily's newfound confidence sent ripples through the school. For years, she had been the invisible girl, the one everyone ignored or targeted. Now, she was the center of attention, but not in the way Madison had intended. Students approached her tentatively, offering apologies and awkward attempts at conversation. Some were genuine, while others were clearly motivated by her revealed status. Lily smiled politely but kept her distance, unwilling to let shallow gestures cloud her judgment. Madison, meanwhile, was reeling. Her social empire was crumbling, and for the first time, she was on the receiving end of whispers and cold stares. The clique that once idolized her now avoided her, afraid of being caught in the fallout. Even teachers, who had often turned a blind eye to her antics, treated her with a newfound sternness. But Lily wasn't interested in revenge. Instead, she focused on finding her place in a school that had suddenly become very different. She joined the art club, where her talent for sketching blossomed. She began speaking up in class, surprising her teachers with her sharp insights. Slowly but surely, Lily was no longer just the girl who was bullied. She was becoming someone people genuinely admired. One afternoon, as Lily was sketching in the courtyard, Madison approached her. She looked nothing like the confident queen bee of weeks ago. Her hair was pulled back into a simple ponytail, and her designer clothes had been replaced with a plain hoodie and jeans. "Lily," Madison began, her voice barely above a whisper, "can I sit?" Lily looked up, her pencil pausing mid-stroke. She studied Madison's face, noting the dark circles under her eyes and the faint tremble in her hands. With a nod, she gestured to the bench beside her. I wanted to say I'm sorry," Madison said, her voice cracking. "Not because of what happened after, but because I was awful to you. 4 years. And I don't even know why. Maybe because you were different, or maybe because I was just insecure." Lily listened silently, her expression unreadable. When Madison finished, she let the words hang in the air for a moment before speaking. "I don't forgive you." "Not yet," Lily said, her voice calm but firm. "What you did hurt me, and it's going to take time to heal from that. But I appreciate you apologizing." "That's a start." Madison nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you for even listening." Over the following weeks, Madison made a noticeable effort to change. She stepped back from the spotlight, using her time to volunteer with the school's peer support group. While some dismissed it as an attempt to salvage her reputation, Lily noticed the sincerity in her actions. One day, as Lily walked through the halls, she overheard a group of students mocking a boy for his stutter. Without hesitation, she stepped in. "Hey," she said firmly, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had endured far worse. "Knock it off." The bullies scattered, muttering half-hearted excuses, and the boy looked at Lily with a mixture of gratitude and surprise. "Thank you," he said softly. Lily smiled. "Any time." By the end of the school year, Maplewood High felt like a different place. The toxic culture that had once thrived was replaced with a growing sense of empathy and understanding. It wasn't perfect, nothing ever is, but it was progress. Lily's journey didn't end there. She used her experiences to fuel her art, creating a series of paintings that depicted resilience, identity, and transformation. Her work caught the attention of local galleries, and by the time she graduated, she had her first exhibit. Years later, when people spoke of Lily Harper, they didn't remember her as the girl who was tied to a flagpole. They remembered her as the girl who rose above it, transforming her pain into strength and becoming an inspiration to everyone around her. Months had passed since the infamous flagpole incident, and life at Maplewood High had settled into a new rhythm. Lily was no longer the quiet girl in the corner, and Madison's transformation into a kinder, humbler person seemed genuine. Yet, beneath the surface of Lily's calm exterior, a mystery was brewing. One chilly November evening, Lily sat at her desk, poring over an old photo album she had discovered in the attic. Her father had always been secretive about their family's past, and until the flagpole incident, she had never questioned it. But as she flipped through the brittle pages, she noticed something peculiar. A photograph of a young girl, her age, with chestnut hair and a face strikingly similar to her own, caught her eye. The girl was standing beside a man in a military uniform, his face partially obscured. Beneath the photo, scrawled in faint ink, were the words, "For our beloved Evelyn." Lily froze. Evelyn. It wasn't a name she recognized from her family, and yet, something about it tugged at her memories. Why did the girl in the photo look so much like her? The next morning, curiosity got the better of her. She took the photo to her father, Richard Harper, whose face paled the moment he saw it. "Where did you find this?" he asked, his voice tight. "In the attic," Lily replied. Who is Evelyn? Richard hesitated, his usually calm demeanor fracturing. She was your sister. Your twin sister. Lily's breath caught. What? I have a twin sister? Why didn't you ever tell me? Richard sighed deeply. Evelyn was taken from us when you were both very young. It was a kidnapping, orchestrated by someone who wanted to hurt our family. We searched for years, but we never found her. To protect you, we kept it a secret. I didn't want you to grow up with that fear. Lily's mind raced, the revelation leaving her dizzy. A twin sister. A kidnapping. It sounded like something out of a movie, yet the anguish on her father's face was undeniable. That night, as Lily lay in bed, her mind swirled with possibilities. Who had taken Evelyn? Was she still alive? If so, where was she now? The next twist came unexpectedly. One afternoon, while scrolling through social media, a post stopped her cold. It was a video clip from a recent charity gala, featuring a young woman speaking about her work with underprivileged children. The woman's voice was familiar, and her face, it was like looking into a mirror. Her heart pounding, Lily replayed the video. The woman's name was Eva, and she bore an uncanny resemblance to the girl in the photograph. Without hesitation, Lily contacted the charity listed in the video, posing as a journalist interested in Eva's story. Within days, she had a meeting arranged. When Lily arrived at the charity office, she felt like she was walking into a dream. Eva greeted her with a warm smile, but the moment their eyes met, the air between them shifted. You look, Eva began, her voice trailing off. Like you, Lily finished, her voice trembling. The two sat down, and Lily wasted no time sharing her story. As she revealed the photograph and the details of Evelyn's disappearance, Eva's face turned pale. I was adopted, Eva admitted, her voice shaking. I've always known, but my adoptive parents never had any details about where I came from. They said I was found abandoned near a hospital. The pieces clicked together with a dizzying certainty. Lily and Eva weren't just doppelgangers. They were sisters, separated by a tragedy that neither had fully understood. Over the following weeks, DNA tests confirmed what they already knew in their hearts. Eva was Evelyn, lost but now found. Yet, the reunion wasn't the end of the mystery. Who had taken Evelyn, and why had she been abandoned? The answer came in the form of an anonymous letter delivered to Lily's home. Written in a shaky hand, it read, She was never meant to be taken from you. I was desperate, and I made a terrible mistake. But they're still watching. Be careful. Trust no one. Lily and Eva were plunged into a web of intrigue, unraveling secrets that went deeper than they could have imagined. Their family's fortune, it seemed, had come at a cost, and someone from the shadows wasn't done with them yet. What began as a story of bullying and resilience transformed into a saga of rediscovery, danger, and the unbreakable bond of two sisters determined to uncover the truth. Lily and Eva stared at the anonymous letter, the weight of its words sinking in. Someone out there knew the truth about Evelyn's disappearance, but their warning carried a sinister undertone. It wasn't just a confession, it was a threat. The sisters decided to confront their father. Richard Harper, usually unshakable, looked visibly distressed as they shared the letter. He sat silently for a long time before finally speaking. I was afraid this might resurface, he admitted, his voice heavy. There were enemies. Competitors who wanted to see Harper Industries fall. When Evelyn was taken, we assumed it was a ransom attempt. But the demands never came. We never knew who was behind it. Do you think they're still out there? Lily asked. Richard nodded grimly. If this letter is real, then yes. And if they're watching, you too could be in danger. Determined to uncover the truth, the sisters began their own investigation. Using Lily's art skills, they reconstructed old memories and pieced together clues. Eva, with her work at the charity, had connections to private investigators who helped dig into hospital records and adoption files. It wasn't long before they found a lead, an elderly nurse named Margaret who had worked at the hospital where Eva had been abandoned. When they tracked her down, Margaret was reluctant to speak, but the sight of the sisters together seemed to stir something in her. I remember the night she was brought in, Margaret said, her voice trembling. A woman came in, frantic, holding the baby. She said she couldn't keep her safe anymore. She looked terrified, like someone was after her. I didn't ask questions. I just wanted to protect the child. Did she say anything else? Eva pressed. Margaret hesitated, then nodded. She said, "Tell them it wasn't me. Tell them to look closer to home." The cryptic message sent shivers down Lily's spine. Closer to home? What did that mean? Back at the Harper estate, the sisters combed through old documents and family records. In doing so, they discovered something shocking, a series of transactions linked to a trusted family advisor, a man named Victor Crow. Victor had been a close confidant of Richard Harper, but he had disappeared shortly after Evelyn's kidnapping. Determined to find Victor, they enlisted the help of a tech-savvy friend, Ben, who hacked into old financial records. The trail led to a secluded cabin in the woods, where Victor had been living off the grid. When they confronted him, Victor didn't deny his involvement. "I never wanted it to happen this way," he confessed. "Your father's business partners were ruthless. They wanted leverage, something to control him. I was coerced into helping them take Evelyn. But things went wrong. The woman they hired, she grew a conscience and left the baby at the hospital. I didn't know what to do, so I ran." Victor's confession left the sisters stunned. While he provided names of those involved, many of them had since disappeared or died. But the revelation brought some closure. Evelyn had been taken not because of who she was, but because of what their family represented. With the truth finally uncovered, Lily and Eva decided to focus on the present. They worked together to create a foundation in honor of their journey, aimed at helping families torn apart by tragedy. Their bond grew stronger, and their story became one of resilience, redemption, and the power of sisterhood. But even as they moved forward, a part of them remained vigilant, knowing that the shadows of the past might one day return. And if they did, the Harper sisters would be ready.